has been a pivot within that business. And so for anybody who knows, because we heard a lot of the word pivot during the pandemic, and pivot means to stay anchored in one place. Do y'all remember being in elementary school and having those compasses that had the needle point and you were able to turn that around? Well, that's the best example of a pivot. And so I travel and speak all the time. And so typically I say that this is how you pivot. Because if you're a basketball player, you'll understand that too. But you stay rooted and grounded in one place, and you can go around and around and around the beauty industry, and allowed myself to pivot. And so you'll notice that in the front, when you pass by the My Hair Ain't Nappy banner in the face, that I decided to pivot for marketing purposes into that right there. So that's a podcast where we just talk about the parallel that exists between our hair and how we live our everyday lives. And so entrepreneurship for me has been all about the pivot, and we'll talk more about that after we all get a chance to introduce ourselves.
Lindsay?
Yes, so I'm Lindsay King. I'm the owner of Electrical Maintenance and Troubleshooting. Matter of fact, I'm a 50% owner. The other 50% is my wife, Jennifer, right here in the front with the video. And so, number one, I'm grateful to be here amongst these panelists. And just a little bit about us. So I'm a third generation electrician. My grandfather was the first black licensed electrician in Etowah County, so I'm very proud of that. You can clap if you want to. Yeah, so I started doing electrical work at the age of 8, and I was just handing my grandfather tools, go get this, go get that. He'd have me crawling up under houses and stuff like that. And so I was birthed into the electrical industry, and he had me writing invoices and just working in the business in all capacities, and I just grew to love it. And so that's what pushed me to start my own company. And also, my grandfather was also the electrical instructor for the city of Gadsden, Alabama, and that's what also led me to teach. So I'm also a teacher.
Wow, that's a lot, right? We have some really great things going. Now, one of the things that we know, we've heard some important things. So 24 years in business, 26 years in business, you know, and business with family, that's important. One of the things I would love to hear from you all is if you could share with me, what has been your growth strategy? Like, how did you get there? You know, because even though we're in business, how many of you all know we have to continue to think about the future? We have to think about the growth process of our companies. Where are we going next? Because we can't stay stagnant. That's very important. So, Commissioner Scales, can you tell me what has been your growth strategy for your company, and even within the community? Because you are in District 1, right? And you have been so instrumental in the community and helping small businesses grow and just the community within itself. Can you just share a little bit about your strategy? What are you thinking about for the future? Share that with us.
Sure. One of the things that I talk about is complacency always leads to stagnation. When you become comfortable where you are and you choose to stay there or remain there, you're going to lose. Because what I don't respect, I will eventually lose. So one of the things that I do is I tell people this, a couple of things. Number one, I have a strong work ethic. Some of us have a dream, but we don't understand nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. Scales works differently than that. I have a vision, I have a dream, I go to work. Most people want what you have, but they don't want to do what you did to get it. So it's nothing magical. It's called get up, work. Work your plan. Don't work my plan, because you can't beat me, but work your plan. And the other thing, humble and be teachable. You don't know it all. Even in a profession that I feel like I got the corner on, you know what? I never felt that way because I always wanted to reach for something higher. So for example, when I was talking to a person, I never forget, it was promoted and they did Mary J. Blige's Motherfucker. And I never forget, this person told me, said, LaShonda, you need to go back to school. And I'm thinking, man, I'm going back to school. You understand? But she told me, every chance you get, learn something else. So I went from being just a local publicist, because I write for a living, to now I am a national publicist. That's what set me apart from other people. But guess what? What if I took on the mindset that I'm just gonna stay in Birmingham, I'm gonna do all Birmingham local media, and that's it. But I see all the people on Good Morning America. I see the people on all these famous shows, right? But my client can't get there now that they're going through me, right? So you know what my attitude is? Your success is my success. Your failure is my failure.
So are you saying pull somebody up with you?
I'm saying if you want to go. Now I'm not told no dead weight.
That's right.
You want to go? If you want to come up, I got you. You want to be something that's gonna weigh me down? Because I'm going up. That first of all, and I'm sorry, I don't want to take away from nobody else talk. I'm going up, and that has to be your mindset. I'm going up. What does moving forward? See, some of you all like to say, I'm moving. Well, what direction are you moving in? I don't know if that's backward, sideways, what is that? See, I'm moving forward. I know exactly where I'm going. And I know at the end of the day, in order for us to get there, we got to put in the oil, we got to do some work. All of this trying to trade style for substance, that's not going to work. You got to work the program in order for the program to work for you.
I agree 100%. As far as strategy is concerned, this has been, I'm gonna say learning curve a lot because I'm in a life learning curve, and so it's been a learning curve for me. I've been, like I said, I've only been an entrepreneur, so I don't know anything outside of that. But I'm speaking off the top of my head. I wanted to prepare, but I just said I want to give what's organic and fresh. So strategy. I think that there are certain relationships that you must have in place when you're talking about operating successfully and moving forward or having an upward mobility as a business person. That first one for me, in my experience, would be having an attorney. That is important, and having relationships and connections with attorneys, especially in business. You want to connect with a trademark or copyright, patenting attorney, and that's because I have intellectual property. I didn't know that when I started doing, I'm a hairstylist. I didn't know that when I started doing hair that I was creating a method. I was trying to survive, but in my survival mode, a method was birthed and created. And so to make sure that that proprietary information and that intellectual property was protected, I needed to get an attorney. But not only is the attorney good for that, but drafting up your HR documents when you're starting your business so that when you onboard other people, all of that's in place, whatever systems, whatever code of ethics you need to have in place, and so forth. And then second would be getting an accountant. Now, this was one of the failures that I experienced at the beginning, not having an accountant to keep up proper books. And so that's when you start failing with payment of taxes and stuff like that. And then you got to get caught up, and it can create a downward spiral. But even if you get in that downward spiral, there's always that opportunity to start coming up. And that was a failure that we experienced, in business. But, once we connected with a compatible accountant, not just a bookkeeper, or not your cousin or grandmama who can do taxes, but, someone who can really keep accurate books and can also be accountable for, making sure that you are looking good on paper. And so that's the accounting piece. And then making sure that they're able to coach and guide you with how to use your money in your business so that it can continue to grow. And then, of course, being connected with companies like the Birmingham Business Resource Center with Bob. I mean, that's been very instrumental for us at High Beauty, and organizations like the Penny Foundation, so that you can keep improving on your financial literacy, so that you can keep talking to other people about it, and then the domino effect of literacy occurs. After that, there's the accountant, there's the PR. Just like LaShonda was saying, PR and marketing is so critical. How are people going to know about what you do or who you are if there's no marketing or PR? PR is making sure that you're carrying yourself in a good way so that you're not misrepresenting your business, and that your reputation or the thought of your business is high and of good esteem. And PR, marketing.
Darius,
Oh,
Would you also, while we're on marketing, would you say that your outlets as far as social media is helpful for
that's
your
really
business?
good. So social media marketing, but the most important marketing that I've experienced has been word of mouth, because social media is good, but that word of mouth piece and that guerrilla marketing piece, like, people still to this day, although we're in a digital and electronic world, people like that personal touch. So when I'm out and about, I make it my priority to go and converse with someone and meet somebody I don't know. And I encourage everybody else in here to do that same thing. Before you leave, meet somebody you don't know, connect with somebody you don't know, exchange contact with somebody that you don't know. If you stay in that comfort zone, then it's gonna keep you there and there's no growth in there. So, and I'm gonna let Lindsay
That's
talk.
right,
I just said a whole lot, but.
You did good, sir. You did very good. I would add to, you also need to have a relationship with a banker.
Absolutely.
You need a banker. You need someone, not just go into the bank and just go to the teller, but you need someone behind the glass window that you can talk to, someone that knows your name. As far as strategy, you gotta have a mentor. I have about 5 mentors. I have a mentor for business, I have a mentor for electronics, I have a mentor for electricity. So this mentor or these mentors, they always pull you up. And one thing I realize is most of my mentors are millionaires. So what I learned from these people is they want to impart in you and show you how to become a millionaire. A lot of us we kind of miss it. We look at somebody that's more successful than us and we kind of brush it off. But these people, they really want to train you and teach you. Also, as far as strategy, I have a 3-year strategic plan, and it's almost up. And so I was at a conference, it'll be up in 2025, and I was at a conference this past week, and I was listening to somebody speak from Hyundai, and they were talking about their 10-year plan. So that made me want to go back to the drawing board. So now, going forward, I have to have a 10-year plan, because if a $1 billion organization, if they function off a 10-year plan, if I'm trying to scale up, I need to function on a 10-year plan.
I like that. And having that plan, because, when you think about life, how many of you all know 6 months from now could be something different? It could be a different transition in your life. It could be a different plan. So having, your 30, 90-day plan, I would say 30, 60, 90-day plan is very important, even within your business. So I like having, that 10-year. I like having all of the plans that we have. One of the things that Darius, you spoke a little bit about failure, but how many of you all know failure is inevitable, right? It's going to happen. We don't know when it's going to happen. It's almost like when Cece was talking, it's that unexpected event. And how many of us have that emergency plan when it happens, okay? Because that's when it hurts. So I do want you all to share just a little bit about, the failure that you've had. How did you persevere through it? How did it help you to become a better business owner, a better commissioner, right? How did it help us? Because we all fail. It happens. So, Commissioner, Ms. Scales, would you share with us any moment in your life that you failed while you were in business?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk about politically, if you don't mind, and then I'll talk about in business. First of all, I became the first African-American city council member for the city of Birmingham, and the furthest of east of Birmingham, right? Okay. Right. Now clap, because I lost the first time. Come on, clap. Come on, clap. There you go. And here's what you have to understand. You have to declare yourself a winner before you win. So for me, okay, I lost that one. Oh, I was so hurt. Yes, I was. I was almost through with some of y'all black folks, too. Because the area was going down, and I'm like, well, hold up. How you going to vote a different way? Yeah, because I was going up against someone white that didn't necessarily like a lot of black things, right? Like your classic, and voted no all the time. So people would say, well, we'd get to chattering, but anyway, they say, oh, you're not going to beat him? So let me tell you what I ended up doing out of that loss. One of the things I tell people is that don't ever go away from wisdom versus intelligence. God sent me some wise people in my life. But in my youthfulness, because I'm in my 30s at that point, man, it ain't that deep. You mean tell me I got to separate my business from politics? No, I work too hard for this business. See, I'm listening to all of that. So ultimately, I didn't do what they told me to do, right? But when I got ready to win, I called him right back. I want to win. I'm going to do everything you tell me to do because I'm going into it with the mindset I'm going to win. And guess what happened? I won. Give me a round of applause. But guess what? In life, you don't always have the opportunity to get a second chance, which is the reason why you got to learn how to pay attention. In my business, I never forget, I had all these beautiful cards, and I used to have foil. Y'all know what foil is on a card? I had the linen paper, and I'm doing all of that, right? And one day my husband just told me, he said, you know, you're doing all this free work. He said, it's nothing like you riding by the bank and going in the bank. Did y'all get that? Okay, with the fake Louis Vuitton purse. It's one thing to go in the bank, and it's another for me to ride by the bank. And I had to start doing some evaluation because I had wonderful PR skills, impeccable work ethic, but everybody thought my services were supposed to be for free. And guess what? I didn't make no money. You know when I started making money? When I started telling people, hey, listen, here's my price. This is my portfolio. Now my portfolio, whether it was free or I got paid, was still a portfolio, right? So now if you call LaShonda Scales, you better have your check ready. And LaShonda Scales is going to give you prime time media coverage and everything that I say I'm going to do. Am I making sense? So a part of you failing is not a failure if you learn from it. But if you don't learn from it, I can't be around you because you're going to keep falling. Does that make sense?
And we have to learn. Lindsay, tell us about your failures and what did you learn from those?
So, I fail all the time. I really do. But one that sticks out is when I first started my business. I started my business in 2008. And I just wanted to hit the ground running. And so I hired 2 employees. And I thought that was the right thing to do at the time, but it really wasn't. I wasn't ready. And so I hired these employees without a plan. I didn't have enough capital to sustain 2 employees. So we worked, and I thought the key to success was just working extremely hard, but I was about to kill myself. So that was a big failure, and I kind of went through a little depression at the time, but I learned something about my business because I learned then that I could work as a prime contractor. Instead of hiring employees, I could do the same work by subbing it out to somebody because I had the license to do so. But I really didn't understand that at the time. So that was one of my biggest failures. But from that point forward, I mean, I embrace failure. I took a test maybe 4 months ago. It was for runway lighting, to work on lights at the airport runway. And the backstory behind this is they could not get the lights to work at the runway on the military side. So they called a couple of electrical contractors out there. They couldn't get the lights working. So one of my friends is an electrical inspector, and they said, call Lindsay. So we went out there to troubleshoot the runway lights, and we got them working in an hour. And so, you can clap. We got them working in an hour, and so, but in doing that, I learned about an airport runway lighting certification. I was like, well, I got to get this now. So I pursued the certification, failed the test first time, and this was the attitude I had. I said, okay, I'm an electrician. I should have enough knowledge to pass this test without even studying. That wasn't the case. I failed it. But this is what happened. I didn't know anything about taxiway signs, runway signs. The signs is what got me. So I went back, I took a class, took the test, passed it. Now we're certified to work on runway lights across the state.
So I agree, like what Lindsay said, I know that I fail all the time, but I don't like to use the word fail in this regard. I like to say that I'm in my learning curve. And so I'm always learning, and I try to make sure that whatever mistakes I make, that I don't do it twice. I'm learning from it. But so one of the failures that just stands out to me is not keeping it professional. So what I mean by that, just to clarify, so when we first got in business, I let my grandmama be our tax person. Because that was her thing. And she was, baby, I could do y'all taxes, I could keep up with y'all money, I could do this. Well, my grandma was not certified or licensed to do anything. And so it put us in a hole because there were a lot of taxes that did not get paid for a long time. And so that's why when I talk about making sure that you have connection and close relationship with your accountant and, like you said, your banker, that's critically important, or access to capital. We got it together because we connected with a compatible accountant. I don't fool with bookkeepers. I'm not knocking bookkeepers, but for what we do in business and for where we want to go and grow, a certified public accountant is what's necessary for us. And so I highly recommend that. But we connected with the accountant, and that's when we got coaching and guidance for how to clean ourselves up as a business and start looking good on paper. Well, fast forward, and this is where the pivoting and all of that came in. The unexpected happened, and that was COVID-19 pandemic. And none of us expected to be shut down. All of the hair salons and barbershops and nail salons, everything was shut down. We were not considered essential. Well, in the industry that I operate in, most of us barbers and hairstylists don't even have paper to look good on. Everything that we've done over the years has been operating solely with cash. And you know, I don't want nobody taking my money and all of that. But fortunately, because we decided to get clean at the right time, when we got into the pandemic, we were not at a deficit and we were not ill qualified to receive any of the funding that was out there. And that funding changed my
PPP loan?
Oh, I'm not even just talking about PPP, I'm talking about the EIDL, because the PPP was one thing. But the EIDL loan was what changed everything for us, because it was at that point we had struggled with accessing a certain type of capital that we needed. And my wife had been traveling all over the United States, all over the world doing things, going to conferences, featured in magazines, and I'm talking about high profile magazines. We were in Black Enterprise magazines, Essence, all of this stuff. But our numbers did not line up with the prestigious press that we were always getting. And so finally, you know, I know a lot of people really knocked the pandemic, but that was really saving grace for us, because being able to access that higher quantity of capital with the EIDL loan position, and because we were already looking good on paper at this time, it positioned us to be able to make a purchase in the real estate that y'all were saying. So we were able to make a commercial purchase downtown Birmingham, and now we're able to say, oh yeah, that's our building that we own and that we're accruing equity on, and being able to
own the building.
But that is a result of failure and learning, and that's why I like to say it's not failure. It's a learning curve, because sometimes failure can have such a low and negative connotation and you can get stuck there. But when you acknowledge it as a learning curve, that can change the game for you. Like, okay, I'm gonna learn from this, I'm gonna grow from this, I'm gonna do better, I'm gonna clean up, so that when life happens, and it will, it happens every single day. That's why I say I fail all the time, because life happens every single day. It's not just me intentionally failing, it's life happening that causes that. But I'm able to learn from that and grow from that and keep on reaching higher levels of success.
I like that, Darius. So let's talk more about, I've heard having a relationship with your banker, which is very important, but also having a relationship, we just talked about commercial. So, you know, we want to learn more about how to purchase. We want to learn more about, you know, the financing piece, because it is important that you have a relationship. You shouldn't just, you know, like she said, go by the bank. You need to go in the bank. You need to sit down at the bank, because there are going to be many things that you want to do if it's purchasing a house, if it's purchasing a car, and now you want to start your own business, keeping those things separate from your personal and your business. So that's really important. But I want to learn more about, tell me me about the value, how are you cultivating that in your business, right? Because you all have employees. So how do you get the trust from your employees? How do you cultivate value in your business? And then how do you really get them to go out and share? Because how many of you all know referring is important when you have a business? We want people to refer to others when we have a business. So share a little bit about that. How do you gain trust from your employees? How do you cultivate value within your business? Well done.
So I will say this as relates to the business part. I did what you did. I learned early on I need to sublet what I do. So if you need a limo or you need whatever, transportation, I'm going to someone that you already have your own insurance, your own staff, your own everything. And all I need to do is to contract you. So
I like that.
You talk about buy-in, but I did say to her very quickly, Miss Rogers, if you don't mind, this is a point of personal privilege. I did tell her just a moment ago, we need to define what having a relationship with your bank is. How many of you all have a checking or a savings account? Now, your commissioner is going to tell you this because I love you. You understand? Because that sister there was hitting some things that I really like. Let me explain something to you. When you put any money in a bank, how many of you all have money in the bank? I don't care if it's 100 pennies that equal to $1. How many of y'all got money in the bank? You got $1 in the bank. Let me tell you something with your smart, bossy self. Why is it that you don't know who the branch manager is at a bank that you put your $1 in?
Say it again.
I didn't say your $1,000. See, a lot of people don't understand. You talking to a girl that they said from the hood. I couldn't even say the hood. We just left off some O's because we were just that broke. My mother and I, right? But what I learned is this. You are who you think you are. So when you go to that bank and you have your confidence on, like, yeah, I want to speak to the branch manager. And not just because you're trying to get your hold off your check. I'm talking about because you want to know who runs this place. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I was just talking to the president of a bank yesterday, and he was texting me this morning. See, because no, I don't want your phone number at the bank. You gonna have my cell number, and I got yours. But here's the point.
Huh? Should they also know about the products and services that are being offered?
Well, okay, well, now you talking about the banker?
That's right. No.
You talking about what I offer? Well, now I'm gonna be honest with you. I done got off into a whole nother business because I did the PR business. And I work so much with the government that now I'm kind of switching gears and now I'm into property acquisition. So I'm just telling you, you ain't gonna stop the scale because see, I just told you I believe in relationships. And I do believe that your net worth is determined by your net worth. All of y'all that sit in here today, if you got a strong net worth, your net worth, I ain't talking about your gross, I say your net worth. Because see, it's hard to hang around millionaires and multi-millionaires and you still on the same level that you started. So I'm gonna just tell you about me. I said legally, because you know in politics, they might have got some money the other way. No, I'm talking about legally, I'm telling you my assets are growing. You know what my stimulation is? Legacy. I am determined I will leave my children and their children's children a will and not a bill. That's why I wanted to make sure I said that. Take your 100 pennies, your 10 dimes, your 20 nickels, and I want you as of Monday, find out who the branch manager is. You want them to know you by name. And then you want to establish whatever it is you're going in there to do. Now we got to sell a business model. Right? And then from a business model, we got to say, now, my credit is ABC, right? Because don't go in there talking to them folks, you know your credit jacked up. Now, I'm going to be quiet, but I'm just telling you, there are things that we need to get in order and then go to that bank and say, hi, I'm LaShonda Scales. How you doing today? And that's why I tell them, and hey, listen, you cashier lady, I appreciate you, God bless you. Where's your manager? I ain't being disrespectful because you know what? I'm streamlining. The one who makes the decision, he who holds the gold holds what?
And know
he
that
who
it
holds
takes
the gold holds
time
what?
to do some of this.
Y'all know he who holds
Create
the
a
gold
plan.
makes the rule?
That's right.
Okay.
Create a plan, like she said.
Yeah.
And then go in and make sure because there are so many things you can pull from annualcreditreport.com to pull your credit report. We at the bank, unless you're coming in to get a product or service, that's the only way they can pull your credit. But there are other ways you can pull it.
Well, thank
All
you
right, I
for
think
saying that.
we just
Don't
think we
have
just
your
gotta wrap
business
up.
raggedy and then go.
Kim, what's that question one more time? I want to make sure about answer. I got an answer, but
Well, we gotta wrap up, but really quickly, I did want to learn more about what are you all doing around AI, artificial intelligence, and what does that look like for you all? Because that is a new buzz. It is happening. So really quickly, can you share just a little bit about artificial
Absolutely.
intelligence and what you all are doing, and how is that going to grow your business?
So I think that is great because it really is a dynamic tool that you can use for your business, especially as it pertains to marketing and even writing. There are a lot of people, one of the things that we were talking about at the table was literacy and how there are so many people who cannot read. Well, not to use artificial intelligence as a crutch, but if you can speak, you can at least use the dictating aspect on your devices to be able to say, hey, this is what I want to do, and it can clean it up. And now you can put out something that will make you more marketable and more, and it can communicate. We think about all the language barriers that people may not be able to cross because they aren't bilingual. Well, now it's like, okay, I can speak this language and it can translate it. I mean, there are so many different capabilities with AI, and our businesses benefit from that. So.
Great. Thank you, Darius. Lindsay, really quick.
Yeah, quickly. So with AI, I have my AI on memorize all of my conversations. So today when I said I was going to have a 10-year plan, I'm going to use AI to help me generate my 10-year plan because it already knows how my business functions. It doesn't know all of my numbers and all of this, but it knows how my business functions, and I'm going to use it as a tool to scale my business.
All right, well, we are up on our time. Let's just give the Penny Foundation a hand.